Shams Charania and Sports Insiders are trying their very best to ruin the viewing experience for us fans. Today at 9:40 a.m., Shams announced that SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, won the MVP for this season. It's a Sunday morning at 9:40 a.m., and that's how we found out. It was supposed to be announced on Amazon Prime tonight in the Game 7 between the Detroit Pistons and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And look, I'm not going to get too deep into who I thought should have won the MVP or if SGA was the rightful winner of the award, because more of my frustration lies on the way that the NBA and insiders handle the way that we break news and the way that social media is utilized. We ran into this issue big time with the NFL during their draft, where picks were being announced on Twitter 5 to 10 minutes before you saw it on live television. And think about how different that is. If you get together with all of your friends to watch the NFL draft or the MVP tonight because you're a Nikola Jokic fan or a Victor Wembanyama fan or an SGA fan thinking our guy has a chance to win the MVP. Or on the flip side, if you're an NFL fan and you're so excited to see who your team is going to pick third overall, and someone's sitting there on their phone and they find out who it was picked before it's announced on television, that is such a huge issue to me. It changes the way we consume the sport. It negates the reason, it negates any reason to sit there and watch the live event, because you're going to find it all out on one of these soon, right before it's even announced on television. And if I was Amazon Prime or one of these partners, I would be so ticked off, because you know that part of their deal that Amazon Prime made was that they wanted to be the partner that announced who won the MVP. These guys are fighting over everything in negotiations. They wanted to be the ones who got to announce MVP before Game 7 of this second round playoff series. And now, why would you tune into that event? Because it's already been announced. There's no reason for extra eyeballs. There's no reason to get excited. And that hurts your partner. But the NBA does not care about their television partners. They care that they got paid a bunch of money, and all they care about is their clicks and their social media interactions. And Adam Silver, I think he has some major issues that he needs to address, and all he wants to focus on is tanking, because the gambling companies have this man by the balls. SGA lives on a different time zone than the East Coast. It was 9:40 a.m. on the East Coast. Well, SGA might not have even been out of bed this morning when he rolled over and found out that he won the MVP award when he looked at his phone. Think about how disappointing that is. And my best friend at work, he's about to turn 50, he talked about how him and his friends used to get together to watch the All-Star game just to see the shoes that Michael Jordan had on his feet. Think about the difference in the way that we consume sports compared to how we did just 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I used to love to get together with people to watch basketball games, to watch playoff games, to watch the NFL draft, to watch the Super Bowl, all those different things. And the way that we consume it now is just see the highlights on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook after the game, and it takes away so much from the storyline of the overall event. When you watch a basketball game, there's so many moments that are important. Whether it's, whether it's at the end of the second quarter, a team goes on a little 6-0 run, a little 7-0 run that feels like it totally shifts the momentum of what team feels good going into halftime. A team could have a 10-point lead and feel like they dominated the first half, and then the other team hits 2 threes heading into halftime to bring it down to 4, and they come out and dominate in the third quarter. Those little moments are not always captured from the little snippets we see on our Twitter feed. And it makes it to where everyone has the exact same opinion on sports in almost all times. Rudy Gobert, obviously we know he struggled in their last game, but he played really well in round 1. Shaq went on TV and said that he was the worst player in the entire NBA. And Rudy Gobert has lowlights where, Steph spin him around in a circle with a nasty little dribble move and things like that. where it's everyone now has the same conclusion that this guy can't play in the playoffs. He's overrated on the defensive end of the court, and every basketball fan now has the exact same opinion. Well, if you watched round one, him go up against Nikola Jokic, it seemed like this guy was actually providing real value for his basketball team. But people don't watch it, so the opinion doesn't change that much. And all in all, you have to watch the games in order to have a formulated opinion that is your own. People jump on the bandwagon. It's the same thing that people do in music. It's the same thing that people do in sports. It's why you heard everyone and their mom have the same opinion on a Kendrick Lamar and Drake battle. And, you can have whatever opinion you want is fine with me. But everyone having the exact same opinion is not really good for the consumption of it. It means that people are just listening to a song and then they're seeing what everyone's saying on Twitter. And that's the way that their opinion has been formed. It's not good for opinionists. It's not good for the consumption of entertainment. Stephen A. Smith and ESPN, there are a lot of times you'll watch that show and and they'll be talking about a game or they'll be talking about a series, and it feels like, did these guys even watch the games? They're not saying anything other than what's floating around on Twitter, or just saying nonsense or stuff that's entertaining on television. Colin Cowherd has a saying that it's better to be entertaining than it is to be right. Well, it feels like that's the route that most of these huge networks are going towards, is just pure entertainment. And we know that that Stephen A., we've seen him playing solitaire at NBA Finals games while they're going on, so we know that his consumption is not always locked in. But the other big issue that the NBA runs into is they're trying to create anticipation for these awards. And that's why they wait to announce them, kind of one after the other. This one was going to be announced during Game 7 of the Cavs-Pistons. And you wait, and sometimes we forget that these are regular season awards because it's been 5 weeks since the regular season ended. And you watch the playoffs and you watch the, in this case, the Thunder do really well in a series the SGA didn't even play that good. And it starts to create questions. How valuable is he the most valuable player in the league? On the flip side, Joe Mazzulla is probably going to win Coach of the Year. That one hasn't been announced yet. And he got absolutely out-coached in round one against the Philadelphia 76ers, where in Game 7 he started a lineup that hadn't played together all season. So think about how bad that is. That a few years ago, that coach for the Raptors, and I wish I could remember his name off the top of my head right now, literally got fired in the same year he won Coach of the Year. If you wait too long to announce these awards, excuse me, if you wait too long to announce these awards, it makes it to where people have been eliminated from the playoffs, and it really puts a sour taste in our mouth on the fact that these guys won. So if you're going to wait for that anticipation, at least wait until they're supposed to be announced. At least wait for the right moment. Otherwise, let's have an award ceremony the day before the playoffs start and announce all of the awards at once. Everyone would remember that they're regular season awards. You can get your voting done because all these voters could electronically vote. It could tally itself, and you could know who won the award the next day. These things have to be addressed for the NBA because I think it's a huge issue going forward. And I really hope that this is something that Adam Silver addresses, because if I was Amazon Prime and that partner of the NBA that just paid so much money for my TV deal with them, I would be more ticked off than I can imagine. That's all we got for you regarding this topic. Congrats to SGA. I don't want to sit here and tear him down or anything like that. That wasn't my goal of this video. I just want to talk about the way that awards are announced. Appreciate y'all watching. We're almost 1,400 subscribers, so if you love the NBA, make sure you take a second to subscribe. Several go.